So first we created an array of group names. This is actually a one-dimensional array, and then we created a two-dimensional array, okay, an array of arrays, and the name of this array is child names. Okay, so now let's actually declare a variable of type context, okay, in order to specify the context of our activity of our application. So we have this context class, and as you can see, it actually automatically imported this context class to our activity here, to our class, and the name of this object is context. Okay, and as you can see, I didn't actually instantiate this object yet, so I want to actually instantiate it when the constructor of this class is being called. Okay, so here I can just type in public, okay, expandable ListView adapter. Okay, so remember, the name of your constructor must be the same as the name of your class. Okay, and then I put in a pair of brackets here, a pair of parentheses, as you can see here, and here you can see, and inside the parentheses I can actually specify the arguments of this constructor. So here I can just type in context. Okay, context. So remember that context allows this activity to actually interact with other features of Android outside of this activity. Okay, so we can use context in lots of places in our Android application programming. Okay, so this is very important. So context allows this activity, this class, to interact with other features outside of this activity. So we need to actually initialize this context. So this dot context assignment operator context, and then I need to put in a semicolon at the end of my statement here. So as you can see here, we have this get group count here. As you can see, we are actually overriding this method in our class. Okay, so as you can see here, it says return 0. So here we need to actually return the number of elements that are inside of these group names here. Okay, inside of this group names array. Okay, so here I can just refer to the name of that array, group names, okay, dot length. Okay, and as you can see here, we have this get children count here, and we need to actually implement this method here. So as you can see, it says get children count. So we need to actually refer to the name of this child names array. Okay, and we need to actually get the value of the length of this array. Okay, and then return that value. So here I can just type in child names dot length. Okay, and here as you can see, we have another method, get group. Okay, so this method actually returns a value of type object. Okay, and the name of this method is get group, and this method actually accepts an argument of type integer, and the name of this argument is group position. So here we need to actually return the values that are inside of this get group names array. Okay, so here I can just type in, let me actually delete this null here, return group names, okay, sub group position. So it's going to actually return the specific value that is inside of the specific position, specific index actually of this array. Okay, first we are referring to the name of this group names array, and then we are actually referring to the specific index or position that is inside of this array. Okay, for example, sport, computer, food, car, or TV. Okay, so we are returning that specific value, okay, from this method get group, and we have get child here, and this method actually accepts two arguments, and this method actually returns a value of type object. So here, as you can see, we need to actually return the values that are inside of this child names array. Okay, so as you can see, this is actually a two-dimensional array. So here for this method, I can just return to the name of that array child names, okay, sub. As you can see, we have two arguments, group position, child position. So I can just type in group position, okay, sub child position. Okay, so this is actually the row and this is the column. So for example, if we assign the value 0 for this group position, okay, it's going to go inside of this child names array. So this is the element 0, okay, index 0. And if we actually assign the value 0 for this child position, it's going to actually return this value boxing to us. Okay, So in this method, we are actually returning the values that are inside of this child names array, okay, get child. And we have another method, as you can see here, get group ID. So here I could just return the group position. That's okay. So the group position is the group ID, actually the index of our values inside of these group names, okay. So these, for example, this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these values would be the ID for these group names, okay. So here, as you can see, I just returned this group position, and we have get child ID here, as you can see. And here, as you can see, for this method get child ID, we have this child position as an argument. So we could just return that value, return child position, okay. Okay, so this method is going to actually return the specific index that are inside of this child names array. For example, index 0, 1, 2, 3, and other values, okay. So these are the columns, and these are, as you can see, these arrays are actually the rows that are inside of this child names array, okay. So we are just returning the index of the child position, okay. So these are the children of this array, okay, these columns: boxing, kickboxing, judo, football, basketball, and other values. So here, as you can see, we have this get child ID, and here we have this has stable IDs. So the default implementation for this method is enough, okay. We don't need to actually overwrite this method again, and here we don't need to actually put in our own implementations, okay. So now, and as you can see here, we can actually go to the web browser, okay. And here, as you can see, this is our expandable list adapter class. And now I can actually search for the name of that specific methods that I want to actually see the descriptions of that method, okay. So here I could just press on, hold the command key and then press on the letter F on my keyboard. If you are using a Windows machine, you need to actually hold the control key and then press on the letter F on your keyboard. And here inside the search bar, as you can see, I can actually search for my specific methods, has stable IDs. And as you can see here, this is our method, and this is actually an abstract method, and the return type of this method actually is Boolean. And it says indicates whether the child and group IDs are stable across changes to the underlying data. Okay, so this is the description of this method. Okay, let's actually go to the Android Studio IDE. So we don't need to actually overwrite, actually we don't need to put our own implementations here, okay. So let's see what is the other method. And we have this get group view, okay. And here, as you can see, this method actually returns a value of type view, okay. And this method actually accepts some arguments. So the first argument is a group position of type integer. The second argument is expanded Boolean. The third argument is convert view. So let's actually change the name of this argument to view. And the fourth argument is view group parent. Okay, so we have these values as an argument of this method. Okay, so let's actually implement this method here. So now I'm gonna actually paste in some lines of code here, and then I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, we have I actually pasted these lines of code here. Okay, and as you can see, we don't need this line of code, return null here. And here, first of all, in line 68, I actually created an object of type TextView, and the name of this object is TXTView. Assignment operator new. Here I am initializing this object, TextView context. So this TextView here, as you can see, this constructor, the constructor of this TextView class actually needs the context. Okay, so I just assigned this context object that I actually declared inside of this class, as you can see here in line 21. And here in line 69, I actually want to set some text to this text view. Okay, so txtview.set text group names. So this method get group view is going to actually return to us these the values, these group names, as you can see here. Okay, sport, computer, TV. Okay, so this method is actually returning these values to the caller of this method. Okay, so we can see that this method is going to be called on each iteration of these values. Okay, sport, computer, food, car, TV. Okay, so this method, the name of this method is get group view. Okay, so these are the group views. okay? And we actually created a text view, as you can see here, txt.setText group names. So I actually referred to this group names array, as you can see here. These are the values that are inside of this emulator, as you can see here. And here I actually put in a pair of brackets group position, as you can see here. So it's going to actually return the specific value that is inside of the specific index or specific position of this group names array. Okay, so we can see these values here.